Welcome back to Tov, Israel's Jewish news channel. And we have with us today Professor Elisha Haas, one of the founders of Professors for a Strong Israel, and a professor emeritus in biophysics from Bar Ilan University. And what I want to ask you today is, why were we attacked on October 7th? Our enemies know that we are strong, that we have enormous firepower, an amazing air force. Why did they attack us?
You are actually asking two questions. The first question is, why do they attack us? The second is, why did they attack us on Simchat Torah?
Okay.
So the first question, the answer is that Israel is not a normal state. Israel is a Jewish state, and a Jewish state has a mission, and a Jewish state is different from any other state. Then there are two reasons to be attacked. One is that nature does not tolerate differences. Nature is pushing for equality. This is an entropy principle. And therefore, a strange state which is based on religion and nationality that is taught with religion is not normal, and therefore it will be attacked by most of the world, not everyone. The second reason is that the basis of Israel is a culture, the religious Jewish culture, the Jewish identity. And the Islamic world does not tolerate the fact that an area that was Islamic is now back into a Jewish sovereignty. It is unacceptable. For these two reasons, as long as Israel is a Jewish state, not a normal state, it will be attacked. The energy for the attack is persistent all the time. It will never end. We shall have to be ready for attacks forever. Now, if Israel will be normal, it will not be here at all. It will not survive. Then
why not?
The question is, why did they attack us on Simchat Torah? And in order to understand that, we have to understand few basic facts. First of all, we do not have a conflict. We have a collision of two cultures, and this has no solution. We have to live with a collision forever. It's not something that we can have a peace treaty or any compromise. There will not be compromise, and the peace treaties are not peace treaties. They are hudnas. Hudna means ceasefire, for temporary ceasefire, not peace. So we have to live with the problem. Then the other fact we have to remember is the changes in cultures and in politics. Cultural changes occur at change of generations. A generation is 40 years. Cultural generation is 40 years. And the Zionist enterprise started with the first generation, which I call the Ben-Gurion generation. And this generation that founded the state and finished its job or lost its power in the 70s. In the 70s came the second generation, which was very different. And the main difference is that the first generation had a very strong Jewish identity, even though they were not observant. They had the privilege of having Jewish identity based on their basic education outside Israel, in Europe, and therefore it was not lost when they became not observant. But the second generation was not educated in Jewish education, and they did not inherit the Jewish identity of the first generation. And
so the second generation thought we could be a normal country.
Absolutely. So this is the main problem. they thought that they can be Jewish without Jewishness. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And therefore, they were very strongly influenced by external forces from Europe or from the United States. Now came another problem, and that is in 1973, we were attacked, and the Yom Kippur War was a big surprise, and the main result of the Yom Kippur War was the loss of the concept or the idea or the hope for the new Jew. The new Jew who, unlike the Jews in diaspora, will have the ability to fight, will be connected to the land, will be founding settlements, and will be sovereign. And here there will be no pogroms. But the attack on Yom Kippur, in which within 19 days there were 2,200 men dead, was perceived by the second generation of Israel as a classic pogrom. And then one major part of the Jewish population in Israel, the secular or the socialist Zionism, people who came out of the socialist Zionism, they said, okay, in Kishinev there was a pogrom, and here there was a pogrom. So what did the Zionist movement achieve? Nothing. So forget about the dreams of the Zionist enterprise. Let's go back to the seashore and in practice establish a new ghetto. And then that was, as a result, was a search for normalization, to be a state like any other state. And another part of the
and that's when we saw the establishment of movements like Peace Now and so on.
Peace Now was established after Yom Kippur War, not after the 6-day war. But another movement was established at the same time, and that's Gush Emunim. And people like me, we said, well, indeed, there was a pogrom, but we ended the war near Damascus and near Cairo. So the Zionist movements achieved a major achievement. So let's go on and settle and build the country. And
in other words, the socialist Zionists viewed the Yom Kippur War as a terrible defeat, whereas the Gush Emunim, religious Zionists or traditional people, realized it was, although we were taken by surprise, it was in fact a great victory.
No, it was not a defeat. It was a defeat of the idea of the new Jew. In other words, the new Jew clinically died on Yom Kippur, not at the end of the war, at the beginning of the war, by the surprise, the fact that there is a pogrom. But the normal people said, oh no, the Gush Emunim said, okay, really, there was a pogrom, it's terrible. Yes, but unlike the ghetto in Europe, here we fought and we got out of the pogrom. So no question there was a pogrom. Yes. But
so how does that connect? How does that connect to the surprise on Simchat Torah?
Okay, then started two opposing processes. The first process was, let's disengage from the Jewish identity, so the world will not identify as Jewish state, and we shall be a normal state, and they will not be attacked. And then came Oslo. The Oslo Treaty was born on Yom Kippur, not 19 years later. And the essence of the Oslo is, let's give up the dreams of Zionism and concentrate at the seashore and build a fence that will defend us and be normal. The people who negotiated in Oslo admitted that what they wanted is to end the Jewish state and become a normal state. And it failed because terrorism destroyed it.
It would be passive. It would be only defending itself.
Absolutely, yes. But we are strong, we have F-35, we can do it. And no, it was the weakness. Then it failed, and then they identified in order to proceed, we have to fight against the Jewishness of the state. And who are the representatives of the Jewishness of the state? The settlers. And the national religious people who are on one side normal, they are engineers, officers, professors, and businessmen, not the Haredim. But on the other hand, they adhere to the Jewish identity. So there was a fight against the national religious people, and that is the disengagement.
Is there a different response? Will there be a different response now to this war, to this surprise?
Okay, but then the decadent process of and disengagement from Jewishness was opposed by a new process that search for the Jewish identity. I call it the search for the Jewish identity, and creation of the population of the traditional people who are not fully observant, but they have Jewish identity. And these are the two processes. One is going down, and the other going up. And we came to Yom Kippur this year when the people who wanted to get rid of the Jewish identity were desperate. And being desperate, they attacked the people who was davening in Dizengoff Center on Yom Kippur. That was the end of the process. Now the Arabs looked at us and said, okay, they are becoming weak because they lost their identity, and it's time to attack them. And there was a big program in order to attack Israel from north and east and south and from every direction. Now, will the people in Israel, I understand that the weakness is not the weakness of the equipment, but the weakness of the willingness to use the equipment. Yes, because we did not use the equipment in order to make a preemptive attack and to defend ourselves.
So we have to wind up, Professor. Professor, one last question, briefly. How do you think the response in Israel to this surprise, this terrible massacre that occurred, how will it be different from the response to the Yom Kippur War 50 years ago?
I think that the response will be much more like Gush Emunim than the Oslo. Yes, it will be an eye-opening event because people will understand now, since the cruelty of the attack was not an attack to gain land, it was an attack to destroy the Jewishness. And people will understand that it's not, we cannot solve it by any compromise, by any peace treaty. We have to be strong, and we have now to conquer at least half of the Gaza Strip and make it part of Israel. Because if they will not lose land, if they will be given back the territory, we did not do anything. So I think that most of Israelis will understand now that we can be strong only if we accept our Jewish identity, and it is pluralistic. It's not every model that is good for them. Now we are like an organism.
Thank you very much,
and like
Professor.
Any organism, we have DNA, and any organism that has DNA can rebuild itself and flourish.
We can't deny our DNA. We can't deny our DNA. Thank you very much, Professor
and this DNA
Elisha
is the basic for the flourish.
And I'd like to remind all our friends and followers to give a like and subscribe to our channels. Thank you very much.